Hi. Today I want to talk to you guys about the fact that a 60-year-old franchise is still willing to go back to school. When Star Trek first debuted in 1966, it teased the idea of Starfleet Academy, a service academy where Starfleet officers are trained to do their jobs: diplomats, engineers, doctors, etc. The Academy was first seen later in Star Trek The Next Generation and popped up again in Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek Voyager. But it was really after the disastrous box office of Star Trek V The Final Frontier that the Academy really became a creative center, so to speak. They thought maybe it'd be a good idea to do a movie where they took the original series characters of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy back to Starfleet Academy to see them in their youth. They did that in the early 90s, but the idea never really materialized and didn't really show up on screen until 2009's Star Trek. But it wasn't until the flash in the pan, 2-season animated series Star Trek Prodigy, that Star Trek really decided to follow some young Academy cadets. In this case, a group of hopefuls, aliens, who found the derelict USS Protostar and then took it on a series of adventures, being inspired by the ideals of the United Federation of Planets and Starfleet to become members of it, and eventually becoming cadets. The show featured an incredible cast of memorable characters like Dal Laurel, Gwendala, Rok-Tahk, Zero, and the beautifully designed USS Protostar. I really liked that show. The music was fantastic, and it was some of the best Star Trek and science fiction I'd ever seen. Unfortunately, it only lasted 2 seasons and is only available on physical media, or digital purchase on Apple TV. I advise getting the Blu-rays, because they're really well worth your time. A new series recently debuted that finally took us to the titular academy, Star Trek Starfleet Academy on Paramount+. That show follows a group of cadets in the far-flung future of the 32nd century as a direct spin-off of Star Trek Discovery. In this case, it brings back a few Star Trek Discovery legacy characters, along with one or two more legacy characters. So far for me, the high points have been Captain Nala Ake and Laura Thok, the first officer who happens to be half Klingon, half Jem'Hadar, and is hilarious. They serve aboard the titular USS Athena, which is also the Academy at the same time. You have to kind of watch the show to get it. The show has suffered some growing pains, but to be fair, Star Trek does that a lot in its first year. All in all, I think both shows are well worth your time. But more importantly, the thing I think that's amazing about both Star Trek Prodigy and Starfleet Academy is the fact that this 60-year-old franchise is still willing to go back, try something new, like going back to school, to tell us fantastic new stories in The Final Frontier.